Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 158 of the Seezus Show. We are back with another fun-filled episode. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 157. And on 157, that's where Carl Conyers and I essentially, we're kind of talking about a little bit of everything, offensive and defensive player of the week, top 12 QBs, the Chiefs and Ravens state of mind with their teams, Jackson Dart finally starting, AJ Brown shenanigans, and much, much more. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode, and always make sure to subscribe, share the content at the Seezus Show as well too. But before we get into today's hottest topics, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my co-host, for the boy, for the GOAT, Carl Conyers.
What's good, everybody? It's good to see you.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm dealing with some, I didn't even tell you this. I'm dealing with some fucking dental shit. I had to get a root canal, so it's kind
Ooh.
of not a super fun time, but it's my own mistake. So,
What is root canals? Where does that even come from?
that like they gotta basically like the root or the nerve in my tooth or something like that is dead. It's yeah. So it's just not been a fun time, but we're here.
Okay. So you already got it taken care of, or are you in the process of getting it taken care of?
In the process, it's like I had to do something last Monday and I have to go back again on this upcoming Monday. Then I should be done.
Mm. Yeah, I got to get my teeth and eyes and all that checked. So I just got my dental and my vision card. They're both in one. So I'm gonna start setting stuff up within the next couple of weeks or so.
Bro.
Yeah, but I went to that Giveon concert I told you about yesterday. That was pretty good. It was nice, but it's always a bitch going to, when we went to Cleo Soul, or Greek theater, because it was at the Greek theater yesterday. I was just like, bruh, like this whole process is nasty. So first of all, I lost $40 because I was gonna pay for parking at Greek theater, but I forgot Gideon had a Tuesday and a Wednesday night show.
Hmm.
So I bought tickets for the Greek theater parking for Wednesday. And I was just like rushing, wasn't even paying attention.
And
Couldn't get my money back. Try to sell that shit on OffRub. Try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Try to sell it on Craigslist. Nothing. And then I just ended up. Uh, my brother, I and his girl, we ended up just driving to like a neighborhood, and then we just called an Uber to like midway through because the traffic kind of got crazy going up the hill in Los Feliz going towards the Greek theater. But Uber there and back combined probably like $30. So we should have just did that from the jump, but I just never been to a live event over there, but now I know. So, but it was good. He performed for like an hour, like 15, 20 minutes. Um, and it was much better than his first go around for his first album. So I enjoyed it. He did a great job.
that's what's up. Glad to see it. Glad to hear about some growth as well.
Yeah, a lot of growth as well too. And then what I was about to say, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. So we can go ahead and get started on these
Right.
topics, man. So week 5 is officially over, man. I'm not gonna really go and talk about each game and whatnot, but any standouts to you as far as like any of the games?
I mean, definitely. I feel like the beginning and end, like the game on Thursday where it was the Niners and the Rams, and then the Monday night game where it was the Chiefs and the Jags were like two of the best games of the weekend or of the slate. Um, yeah, those were both like down to the wire games and very, very fun to watch. So it's that's how you know that you're basically the GOAT, at least like the active. It'd be different if Tom Brady was still playing, but like out of active players, that's how you know that you're the GOAT because like when people beat you, it's a really big deal. Like Trevor Lawrence winning that game, like that's just a big deal because he's playing against Mahomes. Uh,
Hmm.
but no, that was a fun, exciting game.
Yeah, and homie fell, got back up, and still converted. I was like, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So no, that was an interesting game. As far as standouts, uh, I like to place bets every now and then. And I definitely on my card had the Eagles and Bills being undefeated. So For them to finally both lose their first games in different fashions was just kind of
Yeah.
shocking a little bit. So with the Bills losing, I just felt like there's a narrative now going with like the emergence of Drake May, and that was my first time actually getting to see him like really play post hype, and he did his thing. But I kind of knew he was going to have a good game just because I know my team, I know our secondary isn't necessarily the best, and we still have some injuries that we're kind of dealing with as well too. But no, he did his thing. He did his thing, and it's also a reminder of niggas need a number one option, whether we like it or not. And especially when James Cook can't run the ball and Josh has to be Superman, it can
Hmm.
get a little tough as well too. But it was self-inflicted. You know what I'm saying? We take care of those turnovers, we win the game. So we beat ourselves. So I'm not the most concerned. And if it's an L, I'd rather it be now than later on. So something to learn from. And shout out to Dak and Baker Mayfield. Dak and Baker Mayfield played pretty well. And Jaden Daniels is back, so that's always something to be happy about as well too. As
Real
far
quick,
as go ahead.
before we really dig into it, because I just seen this, the Aces just won the ship.
Oh, it's official.
Yep, they just beat the Mercury 90-88.
It's crazy because like how the season has started and the narratives that were kind of going behind it for them to come back and win is actually OD.
Bro, they were because I remember like what looking at them in the standings, they were like 500 at one point, like maybe 13 and 13, something where it was just like, damn. And then they went on like they basically won all the rest of their games for the rest of the regular season, which was nuts. And then they just won the NBA Finals. And like Asia Wilson is like her GOAT debate or her GOAT the credibility basically that her for her case to be the GOAT is just getting bigger and bigger because now I'm pretty sure this is her third ring, and this is also she just won her fourth MVP, which no one in the WNBA has ever done before, and she just won her second Defensive Player of the Year. Um, yeah, so this is a like crazy, crazy special season for them, especially after they traded away Kelsey Plum and Jewel Lloyd. Like was just kind of spotty during the regular season. So yeah, to have this all pay off is really crazy.
No, hell yeah. So that would be for this season, WNBA and NBA. The MVP also was Finals MVP.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So shout out to the Aces, shout out to AJ Wilson as well too. Um, so offensive players, who was your offensive player of the week? For week 5.
So for week 5, I had Rico. I call him Frico Dowdle. Um, And it's crazy. Bro was my offensive player of the week, but he was also like my savior in fantasy this week. I had two leagues where like I was either decimated by injuries or buys, so I needed a running back. And they said Chuba Hubbard was injured, so I'm like, all right, man, fuck it. Let me just get they running back. It's better than nothing. And then he goes for over 200 yards, a touchdown, and he had like 30 receiving yards on top of it too. I'm pretty sure it's the most yards any running back has had this season. And it's the first time the Panthers have had a 200-yard rusher in like 10, 15 years, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that, a backup coming in, even though he was a starter last year, you still don't expect him. I'll say this. He now has, because of that one game, he has either more or basically the exact same amount of yards as Chuba Hubbard, who started the first 4 games. Uh,
Mm,
so yeah, it was just a crazy performance. And I think, a lot of times people give it to QBs. I think that's just easy. So
that's mine. I actually went with I went for a different route. I went with Dak. Obviously he played the Jets defense, but all the teams that I kind of went up against, all the teams whose quarterbacks like threw for 4 TDs this week. So um I think Sam Darnold and I think Dak and then I think CJ, they
mhm.
all play relatively weak defenses, but I went with Dak 18 to 29, 237 yards, 4 TDs. Their run game was essentially shitty, and they're not the one option still out. So for him to kind of keep this pace still, I gave him that. As far as your defensive player of the week, feel like we may have the same. We'll see. Who's yours?
I had Devin Lloyd from the Jags for getting a
Oh,
99-yard pick six on Mahomes when he was in the end, like in the red zone.
I'm mad at that. I'm not mad at that at
That
all.
was, yeah, that changed the entire trajectory of that game. I feel like, of course, Trevor won, had the game-winning touchdown, but they're not even feeling like they can win that game without that. I feel like, stopping Mahomes in the red zone. I think they said this is only like the fifth pick six of his career or some crazy shit like that. So it's like that's not something anybody was thinking was about to happen. And I just, yeah, it completely turned that game around and gave the Jags hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nick Bonito. Plays for Denver. Obviously, he was one of the reasons why the Philadelphia Eagles aren't undefeated anymore. He had 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, three QB hits, I believe, and then 4 total tackles. And this was the first Defensive Player of the Week award for Benito's career, and he's currently leading the NFL in sacks and pressures. So that was my guy for that one as well too. We talked about the Cleveland Browns, a few weeks ago and whatnot. And Joe Flacco isn't there anymore. We're going to get into Joe Flacco after this topic, but let's focus it on Dillon Gabriel. His first debut, 19 to 33, 190 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 94.3 passer rating. What were your thoughts on Dillon Gabriel's debut, and what do you think is going to happen moving forward?
I thought that he was solid if unspectacular. Like he didn't, and also they didn't ask him to do a lot, which is what you're going to do for most rookie quarterbacks, especially a third round rookie. It was a lot of short passes and stuff like that, but he didn't look bad. I will say that he definitely didn't look bad, especially against that defense. Like I thought he was going to throw some picks. He didn't really do any of that. And honestly, they were in the game until very late. So, it was like I said, it wasn't anything spectacular. He wasn't exciting. He didn't light anything up, but he didn't make a lot of negative plays and he put them in position to almost win the game. So, uh, by all standards, I think it was definitely successful.
Yeah, I thought he did decent as well too. Like you said, he took care of the ball. He seemed to play with poise for the most part. Kind of like what you said the other week. He doesn't strike me. I don't want to disrespect him or anything like that, but he doesn't. When you see certain starters, you'd be like, oh, they got that it factor. I didn't really get any vibes from him like that. I more so got second string backup vibes. And low key, I'm a hater with left-handed quarterbacks, other than like Michael Vick and Steve Young. I just hate left-handed quarterbacks. I don't know why. But yeah, nothing crazy to make me believe he's a franchise QB. Like you said, they really kept the game plan simple, so he really wasn't passing the ball down the field a lot, and his arm strength kind of looks a little weak. And his third down officially wasn't necessarily the best, but it's good. They drafted 2 quarterbacks. We're going to figure out, how this ship sails. I think he's going to start a little bit longer, but now that Joe Flacco's gone, we're going to talk about Joe Flacco and in Cincinnati. Now it's like it's a matter of time where it's like, okay, you a third round pick, and we got a fifth round pick. So we're gonna see how you are for a couple, and then we get a sample size. Let's test this guy out, and then let's see from there who can be our starting quarterback moving forward, or if we need to go into the draft, depending on how we, pan out toward the end of the year record wise. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that he played well enough that I don't think we're going to be seeing Shador until probably later in the season. Uh,
yeah,
but I still do think that, like, yeah, it would be. I mean, the Browns are a terrible organization, so a lot of things they do are malpractice anyway. But I think it would be malpractice to not see, what you have in both of these quarterbacks, especially because it's clear at least that Gabriel's not a star, in my opinion. Uh,
yeah,
so yeah, I just think though he didn't come out and stink it up, so he's gonna have a little bit more of a leash, I feel like.
yeah. I agree. I agree with you. Moving on from Gabriel, Joe Flacco officially got shipped. The trade details. Bengals acquired Joe Flacco in a 2026 sixth-round pick from the Browns in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick. And obviously, the reason for the whole acquisition was because the Bengals are struggling post-toe injury with Joe Burrow since week 2. And instead, I think he's still expected to be sidelined for at least 2 months. So what that's 5 to 8 games plus their bye week. So yeah, backup quarterback Jake Brown and 0-3 record in the starts, and I think he threw 8 picks in 3 games. So something was needed. What are your thoughts on this trade? And do you think that Joe Flacco has enough left in the tank to at least try to keep them afloat before Joe Burrow comes?
I think, I guess, maybe, probably not though, because that offensive line is terrible, and I think worse than Cleveland's offensive line, and he was looking really bad behind that. Um, at least he has weapons. I will say that. Like
About to say that.
the Cleveland, also it's crazy that Ohio has two teams. Like, can we just talk about that? Like I just don't understand. And they're
X.
both awful. They're both terrible franchises, like historically, and I don't even mean just record, just like decisions and everything they do is awful. But anyway, I think that I just think that to me it's such a head scratcher because they said apparently they didn't even call the Giants. I would much rather have Jameis, and I would still rather
I
have
was saying that too, Jameis Winston, bro.
yes, I would rather
Or
have
Russ.
yes, I would rather have Russ
Yeah.
over Joe Flacco. Like Russ didn't look great, but he also wasn't throwing like he wasn't leading the league in interceptions. That's what Joe Flacco was doing and turnovers. Like um yeah, so. And I think there's a couple other ones that at least like you might not have been able to get, but I still would have called around about a Marcus Mariota, even like some of these other guys, um, where I'm just like, I just don't think that getting this 40-year-old Joe Flacco who's not mobile and you have a bad offensive line that's getting your star young quarterback injured, uh, I mean, at least he's for sure an upgrade. I can give them that, like he's hopefully going to be some level of competent. And again, they have better weapons, so hopefully he will be able to elevate that offense and maybe they'll actually be. I think the difference with him is like now they might be able to beat bad teams. I think that with Browning, they weren't going to beat anybody, regardless of how good, bad, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I think that they could at least probably beat some bad teams. But it's grasping for straws to me, and but I can't be mad because I'm happy they at least did something. I think that the worst part is that they waited this long. It was clear after his second start that he shouldn't be that you should be trying to trade for at least another backup quarterback, and they let him keep playing. So
No, I agree with you. I mean, right now they 2-3, and also Jamar Chase was Triple Crown last year, and he's not even top five in any of the major categories. So he definitely gonna go back up. Joe Flacco definitely gonna hold him down. But like I said, they 2-3 weeks 6 through 11. They got Green Bay, they got Pittsburgh, they got the Jets, they got Chicago, they got a bye, and then they got Pitt again. So I see them finishing from week 6 through 11 either 2-3, 1-4, or 0-5. Realistically, it, probably probably just the Jets, maybe. I don't see them beating Chicago. I don't see them beating Green Bay and then Pitt twice. Nah. So I think this season cooked. So we'll see
they,
what happens.
they might lose to the Jets too, man. The Jets have some talent, and I think that. At a certain, well, it depends on the type of competitors they are, but I think at a certain point, they're going to be over that shit. And like they play a bad team, that might be their opportunity to at least get one in the win column.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, 2-3, 1-4, 0-5. But I think after listening to you, I think I'll go with the 1-1 game, 1-4. Moving on from that, a former USC legend, and I can't wait to hear from your point of view. Mark Sanchez, former NFL quarterback and current Fox Sports analyst, has been charged with a felony battery in connection with the altercation in Indianapolis, which happened a few days ago, which was October 4th. Sanchez allegedly confronted a 69-year-old truck driver, Perry Toll, over a parking spot in an alley between two hotels in Indianapolis around midnight on that Saturday. And essentially, they said Toll was uh, performing. They say he was performing his job like collecting used grease from restaurants,
Hmm.
and then basically like as far as like the escalation, the confrontation escalated into like obviously a physical altercation. And I don't know if you saw the pictures or not, but that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
And apparently Sanchez was accused of attacking Toll, and I think Toll claims he pepper sprayed Sanchez, and then he ended up stabbing him in self defense. So He thought from his point of view that Sanchez was trying to kill him. And it was funny is Sanchez also got hospitalized, was low-key probably belligerently drunk, but I haven't come out yet because I'm assuming he was because they said after like he woke up and whatnot, he said he doesn't really recall any of that. And then, like I
That
said, from
nigga
the
was drunk.
pictures,
He was drunk.
that
Yeah.
nigga was lit. And because of that, so like I said with the picture, he suffered facial injuries, which included a laceration to his cheek that allegedly went through his cheek through his tongue. And he's also recovering from other injuries to his head, jaw, and neck. So the prosecutors basically said that with Sanchez, it says Sanchez with misdemeanor accounts of battery resulting in injury, public intoxication, and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle. But they said based on new information about the extent of Toll's injuries and his age, the charges were upgraded to a level 5 felony battery involving serious bodily injury. Now, level 5, in case you guys didn't know, felony carries a possible prison sentence of 1 to 6 years and a fine up to $10,000. And right now, Sanchez has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. But that's enough of my little soliloquy, man. What are your thoughts on this situation? It was just so random because before you start talking, my whole YouTube algorithm is kind of, as far as football is geared towards like Bills Mafia. And this dude literally had an interview like with Josh Allen. Like, you know how Pat, like, what's up? McAfee had, like, he used to have his weekly interviews with Aaron Rodgers. That's basically what Sanchez was also doing on the side. And his first interview was interviewing with Josh. Everything seemed cool. And then you kind of hear this. And I'm just like, bro, what the hell is going on? But what are your thoughts on all that, man?
I mean, of course, everything's gonna seem cool, and I mean, he's a Fox analyst, like he's gonna be professional when it comes to it. But bro was out getting loaded. He was out getting blitzed, and he did some crazy shit.
Damn blitz.
Like, he has to be a football player, you have a certain level of aggression. That's just like part of the game. And I heard some
Yeah.
other professional athletes and former football players talking about it as well, of like when they would get really drunk when they were in the league and like having their teammates having to have to calm them down. Um, and yeah, I think he's just clearly a bad drunk. He might have been going through something that made him want to get way more drunk that night. I don't know, or he just wasn't around the people that usually kind of like rein him in or take care of him. But he almost beat an old man to death. Like that's what it is. It was crazy. Especially like seeing the pictures from it. And it's also funny because, of course, when it first comes out, I'm just seeing Mark Sanchez stabbed, so I'm like, dang, what happened? How did he get attacked? When in reality, he was the one doing the attacking. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad for bro at all. Like that's, in the end of the day, it's fucked up.
Bro, and football athletes, get along quarterbacks, are big as fuck. He's like 6'2", 6'3", 230. What you fighting an old man for? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
literally what I
Like
was gonna say is like, bro, I would have stabbed that nigga too. Like, you know how
you're
football players
essentially a
are? Like,
registered weapon compared to him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that's wild. And you too old for that, bro. Like I can see if it was a YN whose frontal lobe isn't fully developed yet, but yeah, that's embarrassing. So whatever happens to him, that's on him, bro. I don't feel any type of way. I do feel bad for the older guy. You know, I think almost 70, but yeah, he's probably gonna lose everything. Um, he
Also,
does have something.
I
Go
really
ahead.
don't even. I have no one. I was like, I feel like if you're a NFL fan of a certain age, you probably don't even know who the hell Mark Sanchez is.
Yeah,
All I like how you had to say USC legend because he was not good with the Jets. He didn't
at
do
all.
it and lost his job. And then I don't think he might have been a backup for a little bit somewhere, but like not really. Um, so it's just like, yeah, you weren't great at that, and clearly I don't know how you this the whole life thing. It doesn't seem like you're great at that either because you're out here beating up old dudes and getting stabbed.
Yeah, so we gonna continue to monitor that situation as well too. But if I was a betting man, even though he's white, I think that's the L.
His
That's
last
the
name is
L.
Sanchez, bro. What are you talking about? Sanchez? In
Uh,
this climate, they about to throw the book at him. What are you talking about? This is
you're
not the
right.
time for Hispanic people to be doing anything in this country. Like, come on, man. They've been waiting. They have been waiting. Trust me. Just being real, like the same way we can't really do stuff, but it's peak for them right now. Like they are really on Hispanic people's asses. You know all this
You
IQ
ain't wrong.
stuff?
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. You
Man,
ain't wrong. Shifting gears. It's been an interesting year in the NFL so far through these first 5 weeks, going into week 6 as well too. I felt like we had our list with contenders, pretenders. We've seen a lot of up and down this year, but Indy's playing great. Pitt's looking okay based on their schedule so far. The Jags are shockingly having a decent year. Jaden Daniels is back with the Commanders. Detroit got smacked week 1, and now they're on a fucking offensive fucking tear. And I'm so excited when they go to play the Chiefs. That's going to be a great game. Both teams who I thought should stay undefeated are no longer undefeated. The Chargers and Packers started off so hot, and then Chargers got hit with a bevy of injuries, and the Packers defense has kind of declined a little bit. But in saying all that, I feel like, do you feel like this is the first year where it kind of, because last year we kind of, even though the Chiefs were, I think they only lost 1 or 2 games last year, but they could have easily lost those games as well too. But we kind of, just because of the Patrick Mahomes connection to Andy Reid, we kind of never counted them out. And obviously the Eagles, were great. So we kind of expected them at a certain point for them to meet each other at the end. But I feel like with this year, do you feel like it's a lot more up for grabs? Because just analyzing all these teams these first couple of weeks, it just feels like there's no clear cut favorite. And I feel like there's no overbearing like team, as far as like personnel offensively or defense. I mean, Detroit's playing well, but other than that, like every other team, like every team looks like they can kind of be exploited. There's a couple weaknesses on every single team.
yeah, I mean, a lot of things I've been seeing kind of have Detroit as the favorite as of just right now, which of course changes week by week. But I mean, I do feel like last year for me, honestly, I didn't think that there was a clear-cut favorite either because the Chiefs were winning games, but they were super close games. They were games that like, and of course that's what makes a team good, but it just didn't feel sustainable. And the Eagles to me didn't look like they were Super Bowl contenders until like it got later in the year versus like the beginning of the year.
Hmm.
So I think last year kind of a little bit similar, but yeah, this year definitely feels a little bit more wide open early. I think it is going to be again one of those like when we get, maybe 4 or 5 more weeks in, there's going to start to be favorites again because we'll be like, okay, now these people are actually playing this way consistently or whatever. I just think you lose the Ravens and the Bengals already basically are out. And I think those
Yeah.
team that a lot of people had in contention. And then the Chiefs right now are 2-3. So yeah, I think it can be anybody right now, but also I feel like right now is where it comes to the playoff track record, you know?
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
what do you do when it matters? If things feel this close between a lot of these teams, who are the people that in the playoffs I actually feel, confident about? And that's when
Hmm.
it's like, okay, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. And honestly, I would want to say Detroit, but Jared Goff that's why I'm not a huge golf fan because I
Yeah.
absolutely
When you said they was favorites, I was like, yeah, they 4-1 right now. But the way that nigga went out, I know y'all had injuries, but like turnovers are turnovers. The way he went out
injuries
last
don't
year,
make you
nasty.
throw 3 or 4
That's
interceptions.
all. Exactly. The turnovers are turnovers. That was nasty. So that's the only reason why, like, I don't have you guys as favorites right now, just because. I mean, he's been able to at least be a starting quarterback on a championship team, so you can't rule that out. But I just don't know if he
No,
can
for a
actually get over the
Super
hump.
Bowl appearance, he didn't win nothing. Not a
Hmm.
championship team.
Yeah. So I mean, like you said, I mean, I trust the Bills unless they run into the Chiefs. They just can't beat them right now. But you at least know that they're going to be a strong out. And like you said, the Chiefs have their track record. Eagles, we know what they can do. Then after that, it's just like I don't know. So I guess that's what keeps it exciting as well too. So I feel like after a couple more weeks, then I think we can actually like pick our favorites. But right now, I don't really have anyone right now. Um, Jaden Daniels returned finally. And that was the reason why he wasn't on my list, people. But yeah, Jaden Daniels returned from a knee injury from week 5 against the Los Angeles Chargers after missing 2 games. I'm happy he came back. He led the Commanders to a 27-10 victory over the Chargers. And then in his return game, he completed 15 to 26 passes, threw for 231 yards, and a touchdown to rush for 39 yards on 8 carries. And yeah, Daniels made some NFL history, becoming the first quarterback to reach 1,000 career rushing yards in 20 games or fewer. So shout out to him. Right now, the Commanders are 3-2 of the season. So it was cool that you have some competent backups that can, at least play 500 level football for you. So they went 1-1 in those 2 games that he missed, and now they're a game back from the reigning defending champions in the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC standings. With him returning, what does this mean for Daniels, and what do you think this means for the Commanders?
I think it just means the Commanders are going to get back on track. They looked, I mean, they had a great run at the end of the year last year. I mean, the entire year last year. And so it's always just about, like, okay, is there going to be a sophomore slump? How are you going to follow it up? And he wasn't like amazing game one, but he still wasn't bad. And I think he played really well because did he play week two? I think week two is when he got injured, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he looked good. He looked really good. Showed people why it's like, there was a lot of noise of like, okay, maybe we do need to think about who was the best quarterback out of last year's draft, because some of these other guys are playing good. And it's like to me, nah, it's still bro. He's as of right now, he's still the number one. So I think they're gonna, probably I have to look at their schedule, but I feel like they're gonna start rattling a couple off and hopefully also Terry McLaurin has been out, so they get him back and they've been acclimating Debo really well. So
Been
they
doing good, yeah.
yeah, and then the Bill Krosky Merritt, he balled out last week. So it on offense, it looks like they're even better than last year, and their defense, I feel like, is still solid. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely improve offensive performance. You needed that spark, you needed that momentum, especially with your QB being the leader of that team. And this, increases their playoff hopes as well too. Knee injuries are a little bit tricky, so I didn't know exactly when he was going to come back, but I'm happy that he's good, locked and loaded because Washington didn't handle a former first round pick knee injury well, so they're doing good with that. And it just shows you how like Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels, man, they just have something good as far as OC and quarterback relationships. So I'm excited to see how the rest of the season turns out for them because last year, like you said, they were the NFC. They hosted they didn't host, but they were in the NFC Championship game. So we'll see what happens this year. Like I said, it's looking vulnerable right now. Eagles just lost their first game and they're only a game behind, so anything can happen. I mean, look at the Chargers right now. Even though they've been losing as of late, they're still number one in their division as well too. So Jaden Daniels is one of those marquee QBs. Even though he's in the second year, he's must watch TV. So we're gonna see what the Commanders talking about, man.
I feel like the NFL is probably one of the main leagues where first, second year doesn't matter. Like Mahomes' second year was technically just his first year starting. He was already, he was 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, and he won MVP. So
Mm-hmm.
like it'd be plenty of people, especially these running backs come in year one and two, these receivers come in year one, and Justin Jefferson was already one of the best. Same with Malik Neighbors, same with, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just the age don't mean nothing. And Jake Daniels is old too. I forget he's like 24 or 25 already.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the same year age like when Joe Burrow came out, right? Came out pretty old too.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, so I'm gonna let you go first on this next topic because last week you didn't have your list. And keep in mind, when people get mad at me and whatnot, you too sometimes, my list is not from necessarily their track record. It's what I've been seeing week by week and stacking that, and then I create my list. But in saying that, 12-1, Carl Conyers, week 5 going into week 6. Give me a list.
So now after this week, this is what I got.
Okay.
I got Daniel Jones at 12. I think he's still playing pretty decent. Uh and hasn't done anything for me to move him out completely. Then I have Drake May at 11. I think May is balling, and people are. I think they're going to take notice now because of the game that they just won. Um, but yeah, he's been playing really well and using the limited weapons that he has, and also been running and showing he's mobile. So yeah, I like him. Then I have Goff at 10. Then I have Herbert.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I
Hey, no, just keep going, keep going. You're
Goff is
crazy,
like
bro.
if I were to throw a lot of these other quarterbacks into that situation, they would also be playing really well. So to me, he hasn't done anything that's going to elevate him above these other people. That's really all it is. Uh,
Hmm.
so then I have Goff there. Then I have what are we? That was 9. 8, I have Herbert. Then 7, I have Dak. Then 6, I have Jordan Love. Even though they were on the bye last week, he's been playing pretty well. Then I have Jaden. Then I got now we in like our top four. So 4, I have Stafford, been balling all year. They sh I, it's so crazy. We talk about this. I feel like we definitely talked about this on the show. I know people talk about it in general. It's like, receivers most of the time when they hit 30, it's like they just kind of fall off a cliff or they're just not nearly as productive anymore. Devontae
Yeah.
Adams, you could see last year he still had a lot left in the tank. And it felt like there was a lot of teams that should have been trying to get him that weren't. And the Rams were just one of the few teams that were like, yeah, why would we not sign Devontae Adams and have him now opposite Puka Nacua? So you have basically the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase effect. But honestly, I like them both. I feel like I would, if I were ranking it, I would have Jamar Chase, Puka, Devontae, and then T. Higgins. So I feel like they have the 2 and 3 versus the 1 and 4, um, which just makes it like, it's hard for defenses to really game plan for both of them. And Matt Stafford is one thing he gonna do is he gonna feed a star wide receiver.
And
Um,
that's what makes me so mad about the whole Eagles situation with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith because it's like, nigga, y'all got all the weapons you need to be a prolific offense. So that speaks to Jalen Hurts to an extent, but more so also speaks to the offensive coordinator. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, keep going. I'm sorry.
I don't know though. I mean, if we just on a tangent for that real quick, I think that they would be so much better off trading away AJ Brown and just having Devontae Smith and some other pieces and still having Saquon because they don't need
Kind of like that Josh Allen effect when Diggs left.
almost, but I don't in a different way though, because Josh Allen still made that offense really, really good. I don't think
Mhm.
they need a prolific offense because as you saw, the first 4 games that they won, they did not have a prolific offense. They weren't going crazy. Saquon wasn't going, none of their offensive players were going crazy. They were just winning the games. And this last game, they wanted to air it out, and that's the first game that they lost. So I think especially even you look at the recipe for their success leading up to the Super Bowl, it was very similar. Um, and of course, it's more to that because just the presence of AJ Brown does open things up and other things like that. But uh, yeah, I think it's a little bit different when it comes to the Eagles.
Mhm.
But yes, and that's why I have Stafford. Then 3, I got Josh Allen, still playing clearly like a top 3 quarterback. Um, I also noticed that Lamar is not on my list because he's been out the past couple weeks, and I think he's going to be out again this week. So that's the only reason he's not included. Then number 2, I got Mahomes still, even though I know they just lost. He's still, honestly, the offense is starting to look a lot better these past 2 games. Um, and if he doesn't throw that pick six, I feel like they probably win that game, which of course that, is a ding on him, but that's not something that is going to happen frequently. And
Mhm.
then number 1 right now, it's the Bake Show. He's balling. He's playing lights out. Him and all he has right now is a rookie wide receiver. His other running back was out last week, and they just still found a way to win. So again goes back to how awful of a franchise the Browns are because bro literally they knew he was injured and they still kept putting him out there. Of course, he wanted to be out there too, and he didn't play that well in the year that he was injured. Oh wow, what a surprise. But you wanted to get off him to go sign Mr. Massage Parlor? It's crazy. But anyway, that's my list.
Okay, cool. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. 12, I had Jaden Daniels just because he just came back. So obviously, as the season progresses, he stays healthy. He's going to keep rising up. 11, like you, we both had Drake May. I think he's been having a pretty solid season. And because he was on national television for Sunday Night Football and beat an undefeated team, he definitely put the league on notice as well, too. 10, I had Daniel Jones, just the resurgence on his Sam Darnold shit. Very proud of him. He's been doing his thing. Um, 9, I gave him some shit, but Sam Darnold, man, Sam Darnold's been playing really, really well this year, and I thought he was gonna just fall straight on his face, but he's been doing his thing, so I had to give him some love. Aaron Rodgers left my list, and I put in Sam Darnold, and like I said, Jaden Daniels was on my list, so I put him in there. Um, At 7, I had Jalen Hurts. He dropped down a lot. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. His play just hasn't been as good. Number 6, I had Dak Prescott. Like I said, his defense is cooked. Have no run game. Their number one option's out, and he's been playing great fucking football. Even though I fucking hate the Dallas Cowboys. At 5, I had Matthew Stafford. Like you said, that boy, as you get older, you start to deteriorate, but it looks like he hasn't missed a step. And it also makes you think, like, damn, what if you actually had consistency, structure from the beginning to the end of your career, like a Tom Brady, like a Josh, like a Drew Brees, and all these other quarterbacks? He was pretty much rotten in Detroit. Shit could have looked different, but he's been doing his thing, and like you said, one thing he gonna do is he gonna sling that football to his number one, number twos. He's gonna do it, and it doesn't really ever feel like he's force feeding them too, and the offense just looks like it flows. You know what I'm saying? Number 4, I had Patty. Uh, Number 3, I had Jared Goff. I know you had him ranked at 10, but obviously, you can only control what's in front of you. And I think, he's been doing great. And I think he's top 2 in touchdowns thrown. And I think he only threw one pick. So he's been playing lights out. There's a reason why they're the favorites right now, because I guess Vegas believes in him. And right now, until proven otherwise, I believe in him until the playoffs come. We'll see. Josh dropped from number 1 to number 2 for me, just because of that L. And, I kind of, I was kind of upset with that kind of forced pick that he threw. And then also with the miscommunication with that fumble and then in the L. And then number 1, like you said, the Bake Show. He's been playing great, lights out. And it also just shows you, like, hard work pays off, and being in the right system matters. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland left them out there to die. The Panthers didn't know what they were doing. And what really helped them was when Matthew Stafford got hurt, and then straight out of bed, he just plays and they win that game on national television when he was on the Rams. And then for the Buccaneers to believe in him, and, had to fill, some heavy shoes with the post Tom Brady era that they had. He's been playing great. And he's one of those guys where we just talked about, we don't have no clear cut favorite, but there's nothing in my mind right now with how he's been playing. It's just like, yo, if y'all get healthy, y'all could be representing the NFC as well too. Because even last year when they lost, if he doesn't fumble that ball, they beat the Commanders. Who knows what happens? Because at that point, the Buccaneers had the Eagles number and Jalen Hurts number. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was my list for week 5 going into week 6. So that was that. So I was torn between Sam Darnold and Jordan Love, but like you said, I kind of put an asterisk just because of the bye week, and then, like, I just want to give Sam Darnold some flowers, and then I took Aaron Rodgers off as well too. I needed to give Jaden Daniels his love, and then Caleb, eh, I took him off too. um, so moving on from that, man, our predictions, brother, man. Let me pull the schedule up right now. Let's hear thoughts. We was wrong with a couple of them last week. Let's see if we can go perfect this week. So tomorrow night we got Thursday night football on Prime Video. The Giants are going to be hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Who we got winning?
I got the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles going to bounce back. Dark's going to definitely, I think I think week one, no game plan for week one of him starting, his first week starting, I'm sorry. And then the second week starting, you kind of got a little bit, you got a little bit of tape on him, kind of you can see what capabilities he has and doesn't have. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit more. So yeah, I got the Eagles. Then we got
Real quick,
Jets.
I do think though, like he actually still played a really good game. The interceptions that he threw at the end were him doing too much. Like I
Mm,
don't think that the game plan changed. I don't think that the game plan affected him in that type of way. I think it was more like, all right, we're down. I'm trying to win this game, but he just started doing
mm,
dumb stuff. It wasn't necessarily
mm.
out scheming him, it felt like.
So you feel like more so out of necessity is why the stats reflect everything. Okay. All right. Another London game. I don't really care about these global games, but so I mean it sucks there's no home court advantage or home field advantage rather. The Jets are hosting the Broncos. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Jets on this one. I think they're
The
gonna
Jets win their first game? 0-5 win their first
win.
game?
I think they win their first game in London. That would be, and also I feel you, but seeing how packed out those stadiums are and realizing that these niggas have zero football games usually, definitely don't have any basketball games, and they still like all these sports. So I think it is dope that they're doing more of these games over there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm gonna go against that. I'm gonna go with the Broncos. 0-5. Nah, dog. Steelers are hosting the Browns. Who you got?
Steelers.
Yeah, I got the Steelers. I just trust Aaron Rodgers, what he's been doing with that offense. Steelers defense has been looking a little bit better since week one. So I'm rocking with them. And it's kind of hard to go up in Pittsburgh and win a game and you got a rookie third round quarterback. Nah. But the Browns defense is lit though. Their defense is lit, but I just feel like Steelers gonna overcome. Dolphins are hosting the Chargers. Who you got?
I think the Chargers get back on track in this one because the Dolphins have been a train wreck, especially since Tyreek has been out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. Saints hosting the Patriots. Who you got?
that's
You said you got. Oh, I thought you said Saints. Pats here. I got Pats too. Ravens are hosting the Rams. Rams.
if Lamar.
No Lamar.
They haven't ruled Lamar out yet, but Lamar, if he's not playing, then I'm 100% going with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm not even playing around with that hamstring. Colts are hosting the Cardinals. Who you got?
That's actually a good one because the Cardinals have been playing a little bit better. If Bro doesn't decide, hey, let me flip this ball before I get in the end zone, that's a completely different game. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
Cardinals on the road. I'm gonna go with the Colts, man. Daniel Jones been playing some consistent football against okay team. So I'm gonna go with Danny Dobbs or what's his name? Indiana Jones. Jags obviously just came off of a nice W. The Seahawks I think beat the Cardinals, right? So who you got? Jags or Seahawks?
Jags.
Yeah, I got the Jags too. Well, unless Trevor Lawrence just throws 3, 4 picks, he's live with that. Panthers Cowboys. Who you got?
Oh, the boys.
Yeah, I got the boys. And they're gonna finish out 3-2-1. Such a nasty tie record. Um, Raiders, Titans, both 1-4. Who you got?
It's a game that nobody.
Battle of the ass.
Yeah, it's an awful game, but I'm gonna actually go with the Titans. I think that I was talking about it week one, and it's been the same every week. Like I just seen some more film on him earlier today. Cam Ward is playing good. Like he's
His
been
team
playing
just ass,
good.
yeah.
His team is just ass, and like his weapons are ass. So I just have faith in them. So I'm gonna go with the Titans. And also Geno Smith has been like, here, do you want the ball? Take the ball. I don't want it. So yeah.
Ass. If the Lions and Chiefs wasn't the game of Sunday night football prime time, then I would say this one. Because both teams are hot. But who you got? Buccaneers are hosting the 49ers.
Bucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks. I'm gonna go Bucks, but I think it's gonna be a close game. Um, Packers Bengals.
Packers.
I'm gonna go with Packers as well too. I know Joe Flacco is one of the few quarterbacks to beat help him to win beating the Packers, but like you said, Bengals is nasty work. So Packers, they had a whole week of rest and they're gonna be locked in. Chief Lions.
And you know, I'm a homer, baby. I got to go with the Lions on this one.
I'm going with the Lions too, man. But the thing about the Chiefs, even though they're hosting it, but they play great defense. Like they gonna be locked in defensively. But I think their offense hasn't quite caught up yet with their defense, and I think your boy Jared Goff is on a roll, and that offense is on a roll. So I got like a 30-20 type game in favor of the Lions on the road. And it's not cold yet because y'all got a dome, right?
Yeah, okay.
um, Falcons, Bills,
Bills.
me too. And then to round it off, Commanders, Bears.
Oh, Commanders. But that's gonna be. I hope that's gonna be a good game.
I
Caleb.
think it should be. I think it should be. We'll see. All right, man. Last but not least, fantasy pickups, man. You were so on the point with the tight end from the Dolphins. You did great again. You predicted it right. So hope y'all picked up that guy. But who are your fantasy pickups going into this week?
Yeah, Waller was definitely a good one. He was going crazy, and especially now with Tyreek out, it's like he's just a big target for Tua. But this week, two defenses. I have the Packers defense and the Steelers defense.
Okay.
Steelers are playing the Bengals, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Joe Flacco, I'm kind of over that. And then the Packers, who they playing? You just said that.
You said the Packers? Packers are playing. How did I also forget? Oh, the Packers playing the Bengals, yeah. And then the
Oh,
Steelers. Oh, you meant the Steelers. You meant the Steelers. Steelers are playing the Browns.
okay, yeah. The Ohio teams. Yeah, bad. That's what I would do. Pick the defenses that are playing the Ohio teams until Joe Burrow comes back. Um,
As far as players, who you got?
I got Diggs. He's still available in a lot of leagues because he had a slow start. I'm actually sick because I had him on one of my teams and I dropped him because he had a slow start. And now he's had back-to-back 100-yard games and he's looking really good and like Drake May's favorite target. Um, I also have Rico because as of right now, Chuba Hubbard still is like limited at practice, so it's not for certain that he's going to be playing. And they're about to be playing the Cowboys, who have a really bad defense. So I think he's someone that I would add now, and then if Chuba starts, then you can drop him or do whatever. But it'd be good to have him in case Chuba's not going to be playing. Matt Stafford was actually available in a lot of leagues still, so I think it's clear at this point he's going to be a really good asset going forward. Um, and then I also have Mason Taylor, the tight end from the Jets. It looks like he's kind of like right there next to Garrett Wilson in terms of Justin Fields' favorite target.
Mhm.
And then Hassan Haskins, who is the running back for the Chargers because Amarion Hampton just went on IR. So, one of those, he might not be great, but he's going to be a starting running back, and that means he's going to get touches. So he's definitely worth the ad.
Hmm. And you have one more, I think.
Nope.
Oh, okay. You already said Mason Taylor.
Yep.
Oh,
I
okay.
said sports on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, that wraps up fantasy picks. I'm curious to see as far as like the amount of points that the Packers defense and the Steelers defense can provide. I'm looking forward to that. And then yeah, like with Diggs, obviously they're playing the Raiders, but I feel like every number one option, if you have a competent quarterback, at least against my Bills defense, knowing that we're banged up right now, should cook. So we'll see what Stephon Diggs do, but I like your entire list, so I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to these players for sure. Any closing remarks?
Um, nah, man. I hope that I'm helping out somebody's fantasy team. And I hope that, everybody has a good week and that we catch y'all again next time.
Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode 158 of the Season Show. Make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at the Season Show, at Sir Seezus, at Carl Conyers. We out.